The Point of View is brought to you by Cowbell Coffee. Cowbell Coffee. Taste it, love it. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal. Happy smile. Enterprise Life. Enterprise. Your advantage.
Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show on television. Here on The Point of View, we pick the right topics, we get the right guests, ask them relevant questions on issues that matter to you. We're live tonight. It's a big conversation about our ports, about imports, and all those very interesting things. I have a very exciting panel I'll be talking to, but you can join us with your questions and your comments about the ports on the WhatsApp number on the screen. So it's a two-part show. In the first part, we'll deal with the issue of the 50% reduction in benchmark values. That issue has been a thorny one since April 2019 when the Vice President announced a reduction. Whilst the GUTA and importers were excited, the AGI and local manufacturers are not happy. We'll try and understand their concerns. We'll also discuss challenges our freight forwarders and people who help facilitate movements at the port are facing over increasing shipping charges, high cost of demurrage, and essentially what they consider to be a stifling work environment for Ghanaians who want to import. All of that and more coming up right after this. Welcome back. So we'll start with the issue of the benchmark values. The Vice President in April 2019 announced the reduction in benchmark delivery values for general goods by 50% and for cars by 30%. It was met with a lot of excitement by the importing community, particularly GUTA. A couple of years down the line, the AGI is not happy. In fact, after their conference last week, they issued a communique complaining that if these benchmark values continue with a reduction, it's going to lead to many, many problems: unemployment, destruction of local industry. Two critical groups have complained about this: palm oil millers and rice millers. I'll bring you a quick summary of what the rice millers have been saying about this benchmark value issue. Then we'll speak to two leading agencies on this matter. Here's what the palm oil and the local rice millers have been saying.
The government introduced the policy in 2019 to discourage smuggling and increase revenue at the ports. But following rumors of a likely reversal of the relief, the Ghana Union of Traders Associations GUTA has mounted a spirited defense of the policy, arguing that it presently is the only lifeline for traders in the pandemic.
It's about the best policy of government that have helped to mitigate the plight of the business community as well as the consuming public. You see that the world commodity prices have gone up astronomically, as well as freight charges, which used to be 3,000 have gone to about 15,000. And that alone is too much. That is nearly breaking the back of businesses. On the other hand, artisanal palm oil millers and outgrowers say the policy is deepening their woes during the COVID-19 pandemic. They lament that the policy is rendering locally produced crude palm oil uncompetitive on the market, causing many palm oil producers to lose their jobs in these hard times. Yao Edupoku is the convener of Rice Millers Association of Ghana, and he stressed that the strategy did not make local rice producers competitive and was counterproductive for the nation.
Right from the beginning, we were not for it. We were against it, and we tried to make our voice heard through the AGI that it will not help. If we are talking about nation building, then that is not the way to go. And true to form, it benefited only a few. Those who could make it got it, but go back to the market and find out for the last 2 years, did they change the prices on the market? Never. It never did. So what did we gain as a nation? Nothing. The money went into the pocket of the private person. Those who were able to take advantage of it are those who benefited, and the consumer on the street never did. And in creating that, we curb the onslaught of industrialization. especially in the agri sector, where you have a chunk of the population toiling day and night. It brought it to a screeching halt. That is what I would say. Because we could not and cannot compete with the advanced countries. You go to the US, rice is subsidized for export, soy is subsidized for export, even grain is subsidized for and oil.
So that was Yao Edu-Poku, who's the convener of the Rice Millers Association. He's joining us live, as is Dr. Joseph Obeng, who is the president of GUTA, to discuss this issue very briefly. Mr. Edu-Poku, thanks for joining us. Good evening. Dr. Joseph Obeng, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Great. So, Yao Edu-Poku, good evening. Yeah, please unmute your mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. So, thank you for joining us. First question: this policy has been in place for at least 2 years. Why is it only the rice millers and the oil palm people who are complaining about it?
That is erroneous. It is not the rice millers and the palm oil producers who are complaining about it. I happened to be the number 2 soy processor in the country. I've closed shop. I was doing 50 tons of soy a day and selling the cake to the poultry farmers, and I refined the crude oil into vegetable oil for the local market. I've closed shop. I'm in debt. A lot of us who went into manufacturing, processing, especially on the agricultural front, have had it very tough. So it's not a matter of the oil palm producers and rice millers who are talking. Poultry farmers are crying. And not only that, go to the industrial area and look at all the manufacturing concerns. We are all crying. We are not able to compete on the market, period.
Good. So are you asking for it to be scrapped for people in agro-processing or for all kinds of goods?
Let's look at it from this angle. We want to develop this country. We want to create employment. We want to be self-sufficient in some sectors of the economy. We can only do that if we put our effort into creating the local content in the economy. This is what we are not getting right. Don't forget, I am also part of GUTA. I was the number 1 importer of used clothing into the country before I went into processing, agro-processing. So I know exactly what GUTA is talking about. I was at the port. I am a member of GIFF. So I know exactly what goes on at Tema Port. The point is that we are not helping the system anyway. If there is more jobs to be done, then why bother GUTA? They are also trying to make a living. So you don't put any impediment in their way. But the point is that we are not creating employment. And the teeming masses of unemployed is something we need to be concerned about. And we can only change it when we go into a lot of processing in the country. And basically, what we have handy is agriculture.
Okay. Dr. Obeng, I know that before this policy was introduced, there was a lot of complaint that Ghana had very many, some of the highest import duties, and therefore it was really making your work difficult. So when it was announced in 2019, you are the first people who was very excited about it. Has it served this purpose in the 2 years that it's been introduced, this 50% slash in import value and 30% for cars?
It has actually helped us, and it has actually mitigated the plight of Ghanaians, especially during the wake of the COVID. Had it not been the benchmark reduction whilst all other factors were going up. It was the only last straw that helped us to mitigate the price hikes that was going on. So it has actually helped us. It has also helped the government itself by shoring up its revenue collection. Since the introduction of the benchmark reduction, government has exceeded all its revenue collection. And it has also helped boost local production in the sense that since the introduction of the benchmark value policy, smuggling have gone down tremendously. Let me give you this scenario. Cote d'Ivoire was importing rice to the tune of 1.5 million metric tons of rice per year. Since the introduction of the benchmark policy, it has really come down to 1 million. It means that 500,000 metric tons were being smuggled through the Western corridor into this country. So we are actually helping local industries. To tell the truth, what my brother said, he said that since the introduction of the benchmark value, it has not trickled down on prices. Prices have not changed. That is what he's saying. And so why is he worried? If prices have not changed, prices are on the high. So why are you crying? It means that you don't know what you are talking about. All that you want is an arm-twisting policy by the government so that you have your way. We do not import palm oil into this country. We do not import palm oil. The only company that imports palm oil into Ghana is the refining companies themselves. And most times they bring refined crude. The crude that they have to buy from the outgoers, they do not do. They have their own plantations. Over 1 million hectares of plantation in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines. Those so-called millers. And they are not helping the cause of Ghana. These multinationals are ripping it off from government. And government have to open its eye. The rice that they are talking about, they do not have an outgoing scheme to help us produce more to the sustainable level that he's talking about. They bring all paddy rice that is also imported, that is already imported from other countries, from Asia and elsewhere. And then about 6 people will stand by a refining milling machine, and they say that that is a produce of Ghana. I mean, this is completely
okay.
It should not be accepted. We are traders, and we are the ones who sell the produce of these so-called manufacturers. And we sell this in the market, and then we bring the shortfall of what the locals need. So let me ask you. It should not be said until we have reached food sufficiency.
Okay, you got it wrong.
Until that time that we have reached food sufficiency, the people of Ghana should be surcharged with hunger. It should not be said that.
Doc, you got it wrong.
And it is not fair.
Okay, Mr. Edu.
You got it wrong, Doc. It is true, and we are very much aware that smuggling goes on in this country. Cote d'Ivoire was importing 1.5 million metric tons of rice, sugar, and I'm very much aware. We are witnesses that a large chunk of it finds its way into the Ghanaian market. For example, if you go to the Western corridor, imported materials are cheaper than in Accra. So a lot of people go to Kumasi to buy their provisions. That's a fact. It's a given. It is because of the smuggling. But that is not the way to go. What I'm trying to say is this, Doc. We are importing to the detriment of the local industry. And that is also a fact. The point is that we bring in the rice, we bring in the oil, and we bring in other manufacturing articles. And that stifles the growth of local manufacturing. This is what we are saying, that the benchmark did not come to help. Because it is these big ones who were importing in larger volumes who got that 50%, not a small trader who is doing $10,000, $50,000. Not them. But those who were doing the $1 million, $10 million, they got most of it coming to them. But look at it this way. Look at it this way. You were talking about we bringing in palm oil and that we don't have enough to feed the system. Yes, I agree with you. But why is it happening that way? Because the support that is needed for us to be able to make it onto the market is something which is a challenge to all of us. For example, Ghana is doing about 1.2 million metric tons of milled rice per annum. And we, the millers, are bringing out about 350,000 metric tons. The shortfall is from the imported rice. And this is what we want to stop going. I wish I could show you some video. Yesterday, I was at Yagba. I was at Yagba, Modori, and Navrongo. I came back to Accra yesterday night. From Tamale to Yagba, all the area is flooded. The rice farmers are happy. The maize farmers are crying. But we know that there will be harvest, despite the fact that there was a worldwide shortage of fertilizer. Now, why is it so? Because now the farmer knows that there is a buyer, and the buyers are in there to buy. And why are we going to buy? Because now there's been a hue and cry about buy Ghana, buy local made. So a lot of people ask us the question, where is your local rice? And then we have to explain to them that it is seasonal thing. When the season comes, we are working. When the season goes, we close shop. But we want to change that scenario. And this is where we need Doc to help us.
Fair enough. Let me ask Doc a question. Doc, would you contemplate this benchmark thing being selectively applied so that, for example, for manufactured goods like cars and things that we are not producing enough here, it remains. But for agro-processed goods where we are showing promise, we can start removing that. Are you prepared to contemplate such a scenario, Dr. Obeng?
Yeah, that's why we have to dissect the issues. I'm Ghanaian and I'm pro-industrialization, but our approach to industrialization is not correct. You see, most industries are doing very well, and those that are doing well, the locals do not even import the goods. And these are the companies that we have to encourage, because then we have comparative advantage. Sir, if you ask me this question, that's what I have to say. We have to look at those that have comparative advantage, who are doing well, who have done all the necessary due diligences, and then are competitive with their offshore counterparts. But it's not that we want to industrialize and then we produce anything that we do not have comparative advantage. Whilst other countries are using state-of-the-art modern equipment, modern technologies that bring efficiency in prices and all that, they are dwelling in obsolete machineries. And then they are wasting everybody's time that the government should do arm twisting policy so that they can use their obsolete machine that cannot bring competitiveness to bear. This is not fair.
Okay.
So companies that are doing well.
Quick question for you.
Let me tell you.
Quick question.
Are already giving them, sir, let me finish. Government have already given them incentives.
Okay.
And they have a leverage of over 40%. We pay duties of 20%. In case of oil, we pay duty of 35%. We pay. They do not pay duty at all on their produce. We pay VAT, and the VAT is not refunded to us. They collect VAT and it is refunded to them, so it's zero. So they have a leverage already of about 40% to 50% over and above those goods that are imported.
All right.
So it's up to them to do the necessary due diligences. If they do not know, already I've told you that we do not bring palm oil, crude. We do not bring. We consume the palm oil that is produced in this country. So we should ask Mr. Opoku, who are the people who bring crude oil from abroad? It is their
Doc, you
own.
want me to answer that question? I can easily give you the answer. We are not talking about one particular act.
Doc,
we are not talking about paddy rice from Mainland.
All right, Doc.
Bring the paddy rice from Asia. We do not import the paddy rice. So you have to be fair with yourself. Let's be truthful.
Okay,
let's be truthful.
Doc, this is what I'll do. Doc, I'm having a discussion on the port, and I'll keep you on, so you can be patient with me. I'll just give Edu Poku the last word on this, because Doc, I'm still keeping you on. Edu Poku, just round up your commentary. What specifically do you want government to do, and what proposals are you giving? Are you saying a complete scrap of the reduction in benchmark values, or is there room for some level of compromise?
Listen, we all have to start from the same starting line. So the benchmark value is not helping anybody. It has to go. Doc, I'm sorry. It has to go. We do not import paddy.
It is going nowhere.
No, Doc, hold on. Doc, hold on. You are here.
It's not going anywhere. Trust you me.
And the crude oil you're talking about, Doc, you got it wrong. It is not.
You are importing crude oil. Otherwise, who is patronizing the crude oil?
Can you please put Doc's mic off?
I am in the oil industry. I am in the rice industry.
Just relax. Doc, I'll bring you back in. Just relax.
We don't import like that. What they do is that they bring in the palm oil to do the fried oil. That is different because we don't have enough. But if we encourage, we have the land which can produce the palm kernel. That is what we are talking about here. And it's the same way with the rice. If we are importing about 750,000 metric tons, whilst the land is going fallow, whilst the land is empty, if we put people onto it, you will see that a lot of those who are saying unemployment would not be there. That is what we are talking about. But trading, bringing it in to the detriment of the local industry, it's not good enough.
Thank you. Thank you, Yao Edu Poku. Thank you, Yao.
That is not the way they were built.
Thank you.
It's not fair.
Thank you.
Why are we encouraging?
Thank you, gentlemen. This is still the point of view. I'm going to take a short break. We have a big program tonight. We are going to talk about the ports as well. In studio, I have Johnny Mante, the Vice Chairman of Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. Johnny, great to have you. Good evening.
Thank you.
I have Nana Fredio Ajiman, who is the National Chairman of the Customs Brokers Association. Nana, great to have you. And then I have Mrs. Esther JB Donko, General Manager for Marketing and Corporate Affairs, GPHA. Mrs. JB Donko, good evening. Thanks for joining us.
We talk this out and take the best way forward. Because
great. So we'll come back to that subject and discuss how the ports are hurting or facilitating trade as well. And take Dr. Doc's comments on this as well. This is the point of view. Don't go away.
This morning,
nothing wakes me up better than a cup of cowbell coffee. Delicious coffee aroma.
How can you forget your lines again?
I'm sorry, sir, just that it tastes really good.
Cowbell coffee.
Enjoy the delicious creamy coffee taste of 3-in-1 cowbell coffee.
It's a beautiful day.
Waiting.
Cowbell coffee. Taste it, love it.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
I see. You guys can hear what's all for it too.
What's that?
Life is too short, I know if you waste time. Where they up at this, why on not they sleep, make you wake up. Who they call me if you know the party, call me later. If your girlfriend no go, call your side chick, it makes a link up.
Good day energy drink. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to your health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine.
This advert is FDA approved.
Some dust, a bright boy.
you're cruising. This is how it feels like to have Enterprise Life in your corner. They give solutions that make life easy every day. So now, I can focus on my dreams.
Mr. Moko to Kumitibia, Enterprise Life, what when she share more, I don't know. Yeah, who do you move?
Hey,
I shock you.
We've got life.
Dream big. Go on and dream big with us.
Dream big with us. Enterprise, your advantage.
Welcome back. We're still on the point of view. Tonight we're discussing not just imports but the ports. So the other issue that has come up is how effectively our ports are working. And I have freight forwarders and customs brokers here. There's a story here as well in the BNFT about cement likely to hit 60 cedis if taxes and levies are not reviewed. Now, what I find interesting in the story is that they are blaming the high cost of the inputs and also blaming the way the port is functioning for the high cost of cement. For example, the story quotes Dr. George Dawson Amwa, who says clinker and gypsum are imported, availability of the raw material for manufacturing of cement is a serious cause of worry. And they're basically saying that the scarcity of vessels, empty containers to transport goods globally has greatly influenced the freight costs, which has in turn increased the cost manufacturers pay to import clinker to feed their plants. Then they say vessels are waiting 10 days on average to offload the clinker against 1 or 2 days in the previous years, adding that the fact that this penalty must be paid in foreign currency is affecting the cement manufacturers. And then they go on to say, for example, that there's congestion of the bulk terminals and berths, and the exclusion by GPHA of the cement manufacturers to use berths 1 and 2 is also affecting the cost of cement. So let me just make sure I have Mrs. J.B. Donko on the Zoom as well before I come to those in the studio. Mrs. J.B. Donko, good evening.
Good evening, Ben.
Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Let's deal with cement quickly. The cement manufacturers are blaming the inefficiency of the port and multiple charges for the rising cost of cement. Now it's getting to 50-something cedis. Do you take the blame as GPHA for this situation with cement?
Thank you very much, Ben. Let me take the opportunity to say good evening to our viewers. And I would like to indicate that the issue at stake, as far as the port is concerned, is not the making of the Port Authority. First of all, let me start with the statement in the reportage that the many attempts by the Chamber of Cement Manufacturers with us is still under study. That is not true. We had complaints from the Chamber of Cement Manufacturers, and we had fruitful meetings with them. We came up with some actions that we both need to take. And so reporting that that issue is still under study is untrue. Now, let me take the issues one by one. First of all, the fact that there is congestion at anchorage for these clinker vessels is a fact, is true. But what happened before we started having these congestion is what I want to explain. Now, they rightly said that before recently, we were not having these challenges. And all the cement manufacturing companies know the facilities that we have available in our port, both Tema and Takrady, they know. I'm talking about the berthing facilities in terms of the drafts of our various berths that we have. Now, GPHA has been doing a lot to modernize our ports and to provide the necessary facilities for our users. We studied the flow and growth of clinker and then other related products. So we built a dedicated clinker jetty in Tema. We were done with the first phase, and then we wanted to improve upon it by deepening the draft and then also providing some modern superstructure like conveyor belts and all that on the jetty. Because we realized that the cement manufacturing companies were increasing and there will be more demand. And we can't do that without engaging the cement manufacturers to have their plans, their future plans, the kind of vessels they are going to bring, and the fact that when we develop the jetty, it will not be a white elephant. We engaged them, and these same manufacturers who are complaining today told us there is no need, we deepen the draft and also provide those facilities. This is early 2019. But we didn't even abandon the project. We are still searching for funds to be able to complete this project and make it available to them. But when we realized that in 2018, towards the end, that the number of companies have increased, the dedicated berth that we have for the cement manufacturers, which is 8.2 meters draft, we have to even switch to our berth 3, which we use for other cargoes, and berth their vessels there, which is of 9.5 meters, lighten up, and then shift them back to where they normally work. The clinker, we normally consider as dirty cargo. If you discharge clinker, the kind of dust that comes, we have encouraged the cement manufacturers to provide eco-friendly hoppers to handle the cement to no avail. So we have to dedicate an area for them so that it doesn't mix up with the food items that we handle in the port. And so we have to even go beyond what we are doing for them, embed them at berth 3, where we handle other cargoes. And even though it has been a challenge, we have done that to support them. Then all of a sudden, the cement manufacturing companies started bringing in bigger vessels with larger volumes. Meanwhile, you know the facilities we have for now, and you have even indicated you don't want us to improve upon the facilities. So when they come, we berth them at 3, lighten up, and then send them back at the port's own cost, because when we are doing that activity of shifting, we burn fuel of our tugboats and all that to shift them, and we do all that at our own cost. When they engage us, we had the discussions with them, and we identified also that... So
you are saying that it's not your fault. If there's any problem with their cost, it's their own making. That's essentially what you're telling me.
We don't want to just conclude that way, because they are clients, they are customers, and we want to support them. So I'm explaining what is happening so that you can make sense out of it, instead of they blaming it on the port. That is what I'm trying to explain.
So hold on. Fair enough. I get an explanation for now. I want to deal with other issues. So I'll come back to this issue. So just thank you for now. I'll come back to you. Just relax for me. I have some freight forwarders here as well who say they have many issues. Okay, so just let me start with Johnny and also Mr. Ajimai Oforiata. With all the issues discussing import value things, cement people say price is going up. You are the guys who help people clear goods. Don't tell me you have other problems beyond what I've already discussed. Do you have other issues as well?
We have several other issues.
Several other issues? Yeah. Can you itemize them for me?
Well, essentially, it has to do with the shipping lines.
The shipping lines?
Yes, the
what
carriers. Are they doing? They've introduced charges, fees and charges that we can call illegal, because there are regimes and there are processes that they are supposed to follow, if at all, if they have to bring in these fees and charges, and they are flouting all of them. And because they are multinationals, they have the muscle, and they even muscle in the regulator. And that's unfortunate.
Who is the shipping authority?
Where's the shippers authority? Yes.
So the fees and charges are illegal?
Some of them, most of them are illegal.
Can
yes.
you mention these fees and charges?
I mean, the last one that, I mean, if you can say, brought the issues to a crescendo was the port additional charges.
Mm-hmm. The PAD.
PAD. That came in somewhere around February.
Mm.
Yes. And then the Shippers Authority called them to order. So it's because there's a law that regulates the industry, which says they are supposed to negotiate with the Shippers Authority before they implement any new charges. Some of these, I mean, fees and charges they have introduced are actually liner charges, and they are not supposed to be here. Those charges go to the freight cost that you pay at the origin. So to come to port, I mean, destination port, and then introduce these charges again, they are not right. I mean, it frowns on all the laws and regulations that we know of, from WTO, WCO, I mean, World Trade Organization, World Customs Organization, the new TFA agreement, Trade Facilitation Agreement. I mean, they all frown on such practices, but the regulator is unable to call them to order.
So the first issue is the additional charges.
Yes.
That these shipping lines are. Is that a main issue, or are there other issues?
That was the last issue. That
also, there are other things.
The camel's back. Yeah, there are about 8 or 9.
8 or 9 issues.
Yeah. I mean, charges, fees and charges. They have container cleaning fees, empty container transporting fees, port inward charges. I mean, all kinds of charges. I mean,
which didn't exist until what time? When did these charges start coming into?
Oh, like administrative charges has been there for a very long time, and it was there for a reason, because then the port was not that developed, and so they come in to augment the facilities of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. That was back in the days, but the port has gone through a lot of transformation. We now have state-of-the-art facilities. I mean, talk about the Terminal 3 and the rest of them. So these charges, I would say they were supposed to be like sunset charges that at some point should die off. They've stayed on, and they've heaped on smaller charges along the line, to the point where I'm saying the last one was the PAD, which, I mean, that's where we came up in arms. And it's not just about charges, but now when they charge you these things and you don't understand, they actually go ahead and block you. By blocking you means you're unable, even though you pay your duty on the said cargo that you have to take care of, you're unable to go ahead with the rest of the processing, because you need to go them for what we call release. And if they've blacklisted you, when you get back to them, they tell you that, well, for a certain reason, you've either been blocked, you've either been blacklisted, or you've been suspended. These are the things. And one main line comes in for mention is MEX line. At some point, they had, I mean, in July, somewhere in the middle of July, they had blacklisted over 100 of our members. So they are, for all of these, I mean, supposedly
for saying you won't pay these charges.
Exactly. And these charges, Bernard, I'll show you some of the invoices they prepare for you. It's all coded. You can't really make much of it. And then they say they send you one email notice. By the third or fourth email notices, they have blocked you.
So how is that affecting your work as a freight forwarder?
Bernard, the shipping lines, I seriously don't have the word to describe them. They are, and it's about time they are bullies. Yeah, big bullies.
That's a good word.
And we are not going to take that anymore. On the 16th, come the 16th, we are going on, in fact, we are going to the Shippers Authority first. Bernard, permit me to read this thing to you. I think you have it. On the 27th of February, when we had written a letter, after the letter had gone to, to the Shippers Authority, the Honorable Minister of Transport called a meeting. After this meeting, the Shippers Authority wrote a letter to the lines asking them unequivocally to drop that charge. To date, we are still paying.
Since February?
Since February 27, $136 for a container. They call it port additional. Then what is port additional? Port additional. If you talk about port additional,
so these are the all, and this is MEX essentially.
All the lines.
All the shipping lines.
All the lines. But then you talk about cleaning fee.
Cleaning fee.
Cleaning fee.
Container
you go to a restaurant and you eat. Do you pay for cleaning your plate? You don't. MEX is the shipping lines in Ghana are telling us that if you bring your container, you will pay cleaning fee. Thankfully, today we had almost everything is digital, online. I have a bill of lading. I have paid my freight. I come to Tema. The bill of lading is that I give you the shipping line my bill of lading. He gives me my cargo. He says pay administrative charges. Bernard, I have 20 containers on one bill of lading, one document. The line will charge you 4,000 Ghana cedis per every container on one bill of lading. Every container. This is thievery, pure thievery. We are tired of these things going on.
What did the Ministry of Transport say, apart from the letter they wrote? Have you sent these complaints to them?
Yes.
And what have they done?
Well, they called for a round table for us to have a discussion on
Who was
these
in that
issues.
meeting?
It's supposed the shipping lines, the Transport Ministry, Ghana Shippers Authority, and then the representatives from the Freight Forwarders Fraternity.
Was GUTA there?
GUTA was
also part.
So Dr. Obin knows about this?
Yes,
Was GPHA there?
GPHA was there.
Yes. So Antiesta knows about this?
Yes,
Bernard,
they are all
if you
aware.
allow me, in that there's a draft report. In fact, the report was done, I think, in April. The final report was delivered in April. In the report, the recommendation that was made that these charges have to be scrapped. Bernard, there is a letter to an authority. We have LI 2190 that mandates the Shippers Authority to regulate all.
So the Shippers Authority, after the meeting and the discussion, said the charges are illegal.
They are illegal.
And they wrote to who?
They wrote to the lines.
That they should stop charging.
They should stop charging.
And the shipping lines didn't stop.
They didn't.
Bernard, if you permit
and
me.
they are still bringing goods here.
Bernard, if you permit me, please. This is the regulation. Regulation 12.
Of which law?
Of LI 2190.
What does it say?
One moment.
Which empowers the Shippers Authority
to negotiate.
Okay.
To negotiate with all the port operators.
It says a shipping service provider that administers a charge above the negotiated charge shall, upon a report to the authority, be made to refund the excess amount to the shipper and pay administrative penalty of 10 penalty units for each day that action continues. From 27th of February
to date,
these guys are still charging.
And the Shippers Authority is not doing anything about this.
They are still.
It's unable to do anything.
Dr. Obin, are you familiar with these complaints? I'm told you were part of some committee that discussed this. Is this true?
Yeah, I'm very much part of it. And that's what I've been saying, that the multinationals here have been given a full day. It is unfair. Matters we are in a liberal economy does not tell us to have some controls when the laws here are being abused. Embedded in the freight charges are all the local operational charges.
Yeah.
And this is what is supposed to be in other jurisdictions. And when it comes to Africa, and most of these started from Ghana, where we have given them the free chance to operate. They do everything. I have a contract with you. I've paid my free charge with you. And then when the goods come, you say you are going to release my goods to me as per the contract, and so I should pay a release fee. Where on earth can this happen? And this thing is happening to us, and that's why we say that the Ghana Shippers Authority Act, if it is not, we have to enhance it and enforce it. Otherwise, these people are taking undue advantage of us, and then some of the charges are atrocious. Seriously, and that's what we told. I told the committee that we don't have any problem of whatever charges they want to charge us, but then they should lump them all together and charge us offshore. That's the point of entry. Yeah. And that too, they are afraid to do that because our shippers will then scout for cheaper fares. And so these people, they are deliberately ripping us off. And so the government should come in and then bring the controls. We have our sovereign country, and nobody should come here and just take us for granted.
Okay, Auntie Esther, fair enough. I want to, Auntie Esther, I understand you are on the committee. Is this correct? Do you know these issues that freight forwarders are talking about, which GUTA is corroborating?
Yes, I know about it, and then like they have said, all the recommendations have been made, the report have been submitted to the transport minister to deal with. So that is what is being considered.
But how is this affecting operations at the port?
Well, of course, our freight forwarders are complaining, our importers are complaining. And so once they are complaining, and sometimes even the way it is put that the ports, and then we are all affected, obviously. I mean, we need smooth operations at the port. We need everybody to be satisfied with what is happening. And so obviously we are all hoping that these issues will be resolved so that we don't have any issues at the port.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll deal with more of the concerns being raised, and I'll take concluding comments from my two guests on Zoom. Point of view is looking at port and import issues. My guests include Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Johnny Mante, Nana Fredio Ajiman Oforiata of the Customs Brokers Association, Mrs. Jebidonko of the ports, and Dr. Obeng of GUTA. Stay with us.
Mama Josie. Fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Choco toothpaste, healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Choco toothpaste, Sankofa.
Yenchi, Kel Choco toothpaste.
Happy smile.
I see. You guys can hear what's all for it too. Life is too short, I know if you waste time. When they up at this, why on not they sleep, make you wake up. Who they call me if you know the party, call me later. If your girlfriend no go, call your side chick, it makes a link combo.
Good day energy drink. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to your health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. It's a big conversation on imports and ports. My guest in studio, Johnny Mante, Vice Chairman of Freight Forwarders, Nana Fredio Ajiman Oforiata of the Chamber of Customs Brokers Association. I also have Mrs. Esther Jebidonko. So you've said the shipping lines are bullying you. Yeah. They are not, the shipping authority or shippers authority is not enforcing its law. Yeah. So those are two issues. What else is the problem with your work?
Well, I mean, there are so many other issues. Some of them are fees and charges. Others too, they deliberately do things like the number of days that you're supposed to be charged. When you ship, the minimum number of days are guaranteed. It's supposed to be 7 free days. When you are a regular, shipper, you're able to negotiate with the shipping line to even get up to 21 days. But even the 7 free days when it comes to Ghana, the port is supposed to be operating 24/7. But shipping lines only work from Monday to Friday. And this Monday to Friday, sometimes they start charging you the port free days. They start counting the days when the ship is even sometimes at anchorage. when the container is not available for the importer or the freight forwarder to go and work on it, they start counting the days. They even count weekends. They count sometimes even holidays. And it's in clear violation of our laws. I mean, the whatever they call it, Interpretation Act 2009. If you look at Section 44 or 5, it says you cannot charge things like on weekends and then on holidays. Yet they charge. So by the time, by Monday, you have lost about 3 days already. And then before you know, you start attracting demurrage charges by the time you're clearing. When you go and finish, offloading your goods from the container and you return them into, they employ some tactics to delay you, what we call gate in. When you come back with an interchange to bring your container, when you come after 5 o'clock, they won't take the container. If you're unfortunate for you return on a Friday, then they will start counting the days from that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, before you take in the container.
How long has it been going on?
Forever.
So why are you now complaining?
We've been complaining.
To who?
To the Shippers Authority.
And what have they said?
They call them for meetings, but as though the issues are just massaged.
So the Shippers Authority is a toothless.
So we are allowed to say that.
A
toothless bulldog.
As I would describe
because the multinationals have a lot of muscle. So, a lot of things go on. We, at this point in time, we are so frustrated, we'll be forced to go to court. Because we need to bring...
Who are you taking to court? The Shippers?
The Shippers Authority, so that they do the work. If you have a weak regulation, use the weak regulation before you ask for a stronger one. So we have to go and seek for mandamus, which will compel them to do what they're supposed to do. Like Johnny read out to you, if they bring in charges that they are not supposed to do, they are supposed to suffer punitive sanctions. None has been affected since the February 27 we talked about.
But how is this affecting us? We still have our goods. People are clearing goods. There's no shortage of anything in Ghana. So what's your problem?
It makes Ghana's ports the most expensive in the sub-region. No importer will bring in goods and then, incur additional charges, delays, demurrages, rent, and then they'll pocket those charges. It all comes up to the final price of goods.
Really? Because market. I read recently that, our port is very profitable. In fact, I was told that the new port operators had made, $300 million and paid $50 million to GPHA. So everybody's happy.
Yeah.
So what's your problem?
That's from their point. They are the ones enjoying the charges.
But if the money comes to Ghana, Ghana got $50 million.
Yes, but Bernard, for a country where, the average, income is below 1,000 cedis, and we are paying so much for basic goods because of things that we can control, things like these shipping line charges, they're actually running route.
So you are going to go to court?
Yes,
what else are you thinking about, Mr. Mante?
Bernard, initially I mentioned that the lines are bullies. It's because we thought that we could have conversation. Mm-hmm. We will take them on. No two ways about it. We have always thought that we should dialogue, but we've had it. We are not going to dialogue anymore. We will show them that we are in Accra. This is our town. Born and bred. Bernard, exchange rates. Look, Ghana, exchange rates. Today, Bank of Ghana will mention exchange rate 6.10. What's the rate?
Yeah, I'll check it.
Go to any line. I had a call last night. A friend is doing export containers. The exchange rate the lines are quoting for him is 6.45.
Instead of 6.1.
Today is 6.1.
6.45. 6.45. These guys I think that's how we know how to handle. Since the time of Carlos, KB, all these guys, but this time we have had it with them. Bernard, don't let us go. Look, the recommendations from the report. This report had everybody on that committee.
Yeah.
Look, this is what it says. It says abolish when necessary the following charges: container administrative charges, amendment fees, container cleaning, telex message. Copy B. One company.
This committee that the Transport Minister put in place recommended abolishment of all these charges.
All these charges.
And this is.
It goes on to say, Bernard.
When was this?
This was in. We had this in April.
And we are in August. In fact, we are in September. Still not been implemented.
Exactly my point. So exchange rate. These guys, they sleep and they wake up. The IMD has to go to Tamale. He needs to. They will add additional charge. These guys, they won't do anything. They will come. Now you don't even get anybody to talk to. 3 o'clock, they are closed. No, we are closed. Now, today I come.
At 4 o'clock.
Systems. To the systems. You don't have to go to anywhere. You just, 12 o'clock, you can send declaration. They shut their system. They shut their portals. What country are we living in? So we've had it. So on the 16th, we are calling on every Ghanaian. Look, Mr. Benan, when you want some medication, I have people who bring medication for their grandmother in some village. We did a recent survey, Ghana GIFF, welfare committee. After the COVID, there are people who need 50 Ghana cedis to survive, Bernard. 50 Ghana, 100 Ghana cedis. They can't come to work. And these lines, for every container, they make millions of dollars. And they don't even keep the money here. They don't keep the money here. Exchange rate, basic exchange rate, Bank of Ghana, Forex Bureau, even black market, their rates are higher than black market. What country are we living in? So
and the authorities are aware.
They are aware. It's in the full glare of everybody else. Like, if you remember, Dr. Bain said something, that ideally, when you pay your freight charges at the source, you are not supposed to pay much. Probably something very small. But these are become low-hanging fruits that they are all feasting on. They are running around. Let me
just ask Auntie Esther a final question. Auntie Esther, so on the port side, you guys are, it looks like you are happy. Because I'm not talking about the shipping issues they are discussing, but generally, I read of somewhere that I think for the past year or so, GPHA had gotten some 50 million, MPS had made 300 million. The port is very profitable. Is that the position I should take from GPHA generally?
Bernard, thank you. Bernard, let me conclude on this cement before I come to the
Okay,
point.
Just in a minute, so please do that quickly.
Yes, in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So what we are telling the cement manufacturing companies is the fact that they should look at what Dangote is doing. Dangote brings in the vessels that have the draft in the port. So when they come, they don't queue for days. They come and they are bet straight away. We have also indicated to the cement manufacturing companies that they are handling their stevedoring because we want to make things cheaper for them, the cost of doing business cheaper. And the productivity rate, which is 500 tons per hour, they are unable to make it. They are doing below 300. And that is also delaying their colleagues. You are doing, instead of 500 tons, you are doing 200 and something tons. So we have advised that they should also check that and make sure that that is done. Now, we also discussed that the dredging we wanted to do, and they said it wasn't needed. They have now risen up that, okay, we should look at it. And so we should do the projection so that they can look at it. And then if they can also help in the financing, they can do. And we have agreed and we are working on all of this. So we didn't expect them to be in the media saying that we is still understudy, because we have agreed on certain action points and all everybody will take that action. Coming to the final question that you asked me, I would like to indicate that, well, I mean, traffic through the port is still something that we are happy with. It is still growing.
So you are doing well. You are happy. You just say you are happy, so we can close. You are happy, aren't you?
We can do better than we are doing.
You are happy. Yes, thank you. But your freight forwarders are not happy. The clearing people are not happy at all.
That's what I said. When they are not happy, we are also not happy.
So will you help them to fight their battle?
Oh, of course. We are part of what is happening, like they told you, and I confirm.
Fantastic.
We are part of the committees.
Thank you.
And so the Port Authority is part of the committee.
Thank you very much.
On the project.
Thank you, madam. That was Mrs. Esther J.B. Donko. She's the General Manager for Markets and Corporate Affairs, GPHA. Earlier on, we had Dr. Joseph Obing, President of GUTA, and Mr. Yao Edu Poku, who is the convener of the Rice Mills Association. In studio, I had a very unhappy Johnny Mante, Vice Chairman of Ghana Freight Forwarders, and then Nana Fridia Ajimanofriata, also very unhappy, National Chairman of the Customs Brokers. They say this is not the last I've heard of this issue, and that on the 16th, they will strike.
Yeah, we're going to Shippers Authority.
You will strike, giddy.
Manya.
Okay, we'll be there to watch the striking. Thank you for watching. We've tried to do so many things in 1 hour. I hope we've made sense of it. The business dashboard is next. Stay with us.
The Point of View is brought to you by Cowbell Coffee. Cowbell Coffee. Taste it, love it. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal. Happy smile. Enterprise Life. Enterprise. Your advantage.